I thought he was just calling me to sing, but he's always called me to worship. Growing up, I knew that there was always a song playing within me. I didn't know what the song was, but I could always feel that music had a purpose and a deeper meaning in my life. I was in theater. I performed a lot. I graduated from Egan High School and I moved out to New York and I attended NYU for theater. I was constantly told what to look like, how to wear my hair, what kind of songs to sing. It was almost as if I was trying to mold and mesh myself to these things that people were telling me rather than focusing on what it is that he was calling me to be. Eventually, I ended up falling during the process of it. I developed a very strong eating disorder. I began using. My drinking spiraled, negative self-talk and my doubting and just the voices in my head started growing louder and louder and began drowning him out. And before I knew it, I was flying out to Los Angeles. I decided to pursue a career in music. I was still trying to be inspiring and motivational for people. I was finding myself being a hypocrite in what I was saying in my music. So the thing that I was running away from in New York, I was still finding myself in LA. I couldn't outrun it. I found myself out drinking every night, using drugs every night, waking up in places that I didn't even know how I got there. I'd woken up in hospitals, ripping IVs out of my arms. I let the world take advantage of me, and I took advantage of the Lord. I came back here to Minnesota. I kept going with my patterns for a few months after that, but not too long after, I had hit rock bottom a few times. I woke up from the night before, not even realizing that I'd blacked out. I called my mom, and I said, I need help. I said, I need help. And she's like, then we'll get you help. After 5 years of sinking down into the grave, he was slowly starting to pull me back up. I remember one day I was getting ready for work, and it's like my conscious suddenly became hyper aware of his presence. Like I could just hear him say, I'm right here. I suddenly saw my entire story in a second through his eyes, and I was able to sit back in ease and say, thank you. It's time to let you take the wheel now. It's time to let you drive. I'm just gonna sit back and do exactly what it is you're telling me to do. And he brought me into that worship center. And through the music, he relifted my spirits. He called me home. I said to my mom, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be a part of that group, Mom. And I thought to myself, there's no way I can be a part of that group. I can't be a role model. I'm not a role model. There's no coming back for me. All I can do is participate and be good on the Sundays when I'm here, and that's the extent, because this is what my life is now. This is what I've chosen. My mom ended up talking with John Russell one day and was like, my daughter, she loves to sing. I bet she'd be a great addition to your team. And John was gracious enough to meet up with me one day. And I remember we sang Amazing Grace in the chapel. That was another moment that I heard God. I heard him when he called me back to Minnesota. I heard him when I sang in that chapel. And ever since then, the blessings have just been coming. I get to lead worship with middle schoolers and high schoolers, people who I never thought I could lead. I get to worship every Sunday morning at one of the 4 different locations. And through those 4 different locations, I built a community that I had been aching and so hungry for. What do you offer to the one who's made everything? I thought he was just calling me to sing, but he's always called me to worship. Even through the pain, even through the trials, even through the suffering, which I know there will be more, I'm gonna keep giving it up to him. I'm his. I was his before, and I'm his now. But now I know it. Maybe if everyone felt like they belonged, like they were accepted, because they are. You're his. You belong to him. We all belong to him. There's no place like love. There's no place other than to be with him. It's the best place to be. It's with him, our living hope.
Let's go.
Ooh, that got me.